Picture a landscape right in the middle of Europe, a place where ancient, mist-shrouded mountain peaks stand guard over, well, high-tech robotic assembly lines. It's a landlocked fortress of nature that has witnessed the rise and fall of vast empires. Yet today, it quietly drives a massive chunk of the modern European economy. We're looking at a land of profound paradox, a small but absolutely mighty Central European nation, Slovakia. Let's get into this explainer. To really grasp the sheer scale of this country's ambition, we have to ask a simple but honestly staggering question. How does a mountainous nation with a population of just over 5.4 million people, literally smaller than the city of London or New York, manage to build the most cars per capita on Earth? I mean, it completely challenges our preconceived notions about where the heavy lifting of global industry actually happens. Okay, let's dive into this. The answer really lies in the numbers. In 2023 alone, this relatively small nation manufactured a staggering 1,080,000 cars. It is an industrial juggernaut, just hiding in plain sight. But, to understand how Slovakia became the ultimate European assembly line, we first have to step away from the factories. We need to look at the very bones of the country. Chapter 1: Forged by Mountains. Because before there was industry, and long before there were borders, there was the stone and the earth. If you were soaring above it all, the landscape is overwhelmingly defined by untamed nature. A remarkable 44% of the land is blanketed by dense ancient forests. The geography here is dominated by the sprawling Carpathian mountain range and the truly majestic Fatra Tatra area. And we're not just talking about a few rolling hills. The country has fiercely protected this wilderness by establishing 9 distinct national parks, preserving a rugged biodiversity that feels, honestly, worlds away from the modern cities below. Rising above all of that is the awe-inspiring roof of the nation, Gerlachowski Szczyt, peaking at 2,655 meters. Situated right in the High Tatras, this towering, jagged summit is deeply symbolic for the Slovak people. It represents a kind of physical endurance and a rugged character that has shaped the nation's identity for centuries. And this brilliantly illustrates how Slovakia's majesty doesn't just reach up into the sky, it plunges deep into the earth. Beneath these mountains lies a completely intricate subterranean world. The Slovak Karst caves feature hundreds of hidden caverns. 30 of these are open to the public, and 5 are so spectacular, featuring stunning ice formations and rare aragonite crystals, that they actually hold prestigious UNESCO World Heritage status. So it's a dual landscape, right? Towering peaks above and deep, silent caverns below. Chapter 2: Empires and Velvet Revolutions. Now shifting from the timelessness of geology to the rapid, turbulent pace of human history, we find a land that has been a literal crossroads for conquerors, kings, and competing ideologies. The story of the Slovak people is a sweeping epic of survival and adaptation. Back in the year 830, Slavic tribes unified under Great Moravia, which was a powerful early state. By the year 1000, the territory was integrated into the Kingdom of Hungary, a status that lasted for nearly a millennium, right through the rise and fall of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. Then, following the collapse of that empire in World War I, Czechoslovakian independence was proclaimed in 1918. And finally, after the fall of communism, 1993 marked the birth of the modern, independent Slovak Republic. Let's move to and see how this builds into something truly extraordinary about the modern Slovak character. Look at these 2 massive historical transitions. In 1989, the Velvet Revolution ended 41 years of authoritarian communist rule, and it did it without bloodshed. Just a few years later, in 1993, the Velvet Divorce peacefully dissolved Czechoslovakia into 2 entirely independent nations. In a region of the world where borders were historically drawn with swords and artillery, Slovakia's modern genesis was miraculously characterized by peaceful velvet agreements. But we have to be real here. Independence was not an instant fairy tale. The immediate post-communist era, often called the Wild 90s, was incredibly turbulent. Organized crime surged, the economy struggled under questionable privatizations, and political instability totally reigned. It was so dire that former U.S. Secretary of State Madeleine Albright famously referred to Slovakia as a black hole in the heart of Europe. That quote is a stark, chilling reminder of the incredibly difficult starting line this new republic faced just 3 decades ago. Chapter 3: The Tatra Tiger Awakens.
So, how exactly do you go from a so-called black hole to a high-tech powerhouse? Well, you reform, you open up, and you build.
In the early 2000s, Slovakia executed a stunning economic turnaround. Step 1, implementing sweeping economic reforms, deregulation and a flat tax that aggressively attracted foreign investors. Step 2, firmly integrating into the West by joining both the European Union and NATO in 2004. And Step 3, cementing this brand new era by adopting the euro currency in 2009. These rapid, highly strategic moves earned Slovakia a fierce new nickname, the Tatra Tiger, as they maintained roughly 6% annual GDP growth straight through the 2000s.
This aggressive reform created an unparalleled environment for global manufacturing, which brings us right back to our opening question. Today, massive global giants like Volkswagen, PSA Peugeot Citroën, Kia, and Jaguar Land Rover operate gigantic assembly plants here. Plus, Volvo is currently building a huge new electric vehicle plant in the East. This single industry represents an astonishing 44% of the nation's total industrial output. The Tatra Tiger quite literally transformed the landscape into the beating mechanical heart of European car manufacturing. Now, what's really interesting about this energy breakdown is how they power this massive industrial machine. You might expect a heavy reliance on coal or foreign gas, right? But instead, Slovakia is remarkably energy self-sufficient and relatively clean. A massive 54% of their electricity comes from nuclear energy, driven by the sprawling Jaslovsky Bohunice and Mochovce power plants. Combined with hydropower, the country has quietly built an incredibly robust, independent energy grid to feed all those factories. Chapter 4: Castles, Culture, and Spirit. Because at the end of the day, a nation is so much more than its GDP and its factories. Beyond the assembly lines, there is an ancient soul here that absolutely refuses to be paved over. The country is essentially an open-air museum of European history, boasting 8 UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Just imagine standing before the towering, cinematic ruins of Spiš Castle, which is one of the largest medieval complexes in all of Europe. Or taking a walk through Volkolinec, an impeccably preserved village of traditional wooden houses. From the incredibly romantic fairy tale-like spires of Bojnice Castle to the perfectly preserved medieval cobblestone squares of Bardejov, the entire landscape whispers the deep, complex legacy of the Habsburg and Hungarian eras. And you can actually taste this history. The cherished national dish, brędzowe haluszka, is the direct reflection of that mountainous terrain we talked about. It's a hearty, totally unapologetic dish of potato dumplings smothered in a strong, salty sheep's milk cheese, and usually topped with crispy bacon. It's literally the food of shepherds. It's deeply rooted in agriculture and an enduring folk tradition that has sustained the Slovak people through centuries of harsh, freezing winters. And if you listen closely, you can actually hear the musical heartbeat of this heritage in the fujara. It is a large, incredibly unique, traditional folk woodwind instrument, officially recognized by UNESCO. Originally played by shepherds up in the Central Mountains, its deep, meditative, and really soul-stirring melodies carry all the weight and the beauty of the Slovak wilderness. So, the crucial point is that Slovakia is a land of profound, captivating contrasts. It is the peaceful revolutionary and the industrial giant. It's the land of ancient silent caves and bustling robotic car factories. As the Tatra Tiger continues to roar forward, navigating global economics and modern geopolitics, how will it balance this massive high-tech engine with the ancient, untamed spirit of the Carpathian Mountains? As the heartbeat of Europe continues to evolve, we'll definitely be watching.